Holy blaster from the pasta. We are live. Welcome to the Chain Dogs podcast, where we talk about everything theme parks, roller coasters, amusement parks from all over the world. Thanks so much for joining us. If you are listening to this on podcast, just to let you know, we do this every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Nearly every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Fantastic.
We do it live every Wednesday when we can on the YouTube, live on the YouTube Chain Dogs, on the Chain Dogs YouTube channel. There we go. Thanks to everyone for joining us. I know it has actually been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's back.
Hello, how is everyone doing in the chat?
I'm so glad you pressed live when you did.
Oh, no. Can we not start talking not this?
Hello, chat. How are you doing? Joe, Coast Giant,
Joe, and the
Ticket and Frills. Oh my! That Shadow, how's it going, buddy? Gecko Gamer. What's up, chat? How you doing?
Thanks everyone for joining us. It's been a while since I've been on, so
it has. How long's it been?
Good to be good. It's good to be good.
It's good to be good.
It is good to be good.
We're
good to be good, man.
Flyer, absolute flyer.
Yeah. So we all good? Are we all good though? We all good?
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah.
Nice. Surviving.
So obviously, I started the show with a thing about blasters. Obviously, the Dual blasters went on sale this morning.
Yeah,
they sold out within minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
are there any on eBay?
Like the fact that
yet?
they sold at what, £250 or something like that?
£250.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which people are saying well expensive, but I don't like. I feel like
it's sold out in less than an hour. So
yeah. I think this comes down to, again, like we've said it before, it's
what people want to pay for things, man. Like, you can't. I don't mean you can put a price on something like that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Craig put a nice tweet out where he was like, don't get the backlash for the pricing, because like some people will buy, what is it? They say £250 jacket, and some people buy a Dual blaster. That's what it is.
Yeah. If for a lot of like football fans, if you said like there's a signed football here,
yeah,
like, 250 quid wouldn't even, like, you know what I mean? If it was a major team, like,
you wouldn't get that. No.
And it's the same with like, movie props, stuff
right.
like
Put it this way.
Stuff.
Yeah. I kind of see it both ways, because
my lightsaber was 200 quid.
There's almost like a morality approach to it, where it's like, how much as a park, how much are you willing to take advantage of people's willingness to spend money on effectively useless merch? Like, it means something, and it was of use once upon a time, but now it's not. That's why they're selling it off, if people are willing to buy it. So as a park, again, like, how
why should I?
Like, like how
that shipping was quick.
How much are you willing to take advantage of people's money on it? But at the same time, it's just that people are willing to spend money on it. People were probably willing to spend more than 250.
A lot more.
Yeah, I reckon
a lot more. Hence why they sold out so quick. So it's like,
how many were there?
Yeah, like they're not. It's not put up there for everyone. They're probably not trying to make like serious profits off of it. It's just offering them there for the people who are willing to buy them, not for everybody. They're not trying to mass produce them sell at a ridiculous price. They're just getting rid of them.
Off parts of
that 3D printed big one thing cost me like £100. And
that was 150 quid when that.
Yeah,
it's obviously it comes with a plaque and everything. But
that's what I mean to you at the end of the day.
These things aren't cheap, and like, when you think about spending it, like I would think long and hard about it. If I had the money available,
if you had the time to think about that.
Yeah, you didn't have the time.
Yeah,
but for some people that is, and plus, like, the thing, like, that type of merchandise that's going to be that rare, like that's going to be that's an investment, right? Like, you'll be able to sell that if you want to in like years to come. Hold on to it. Like, I'll never sell mine. That's because like obviously did some work with on marketing with the ride and stuff, and that means a lot to me, and the ride does. But I just think it's like there's a difference between saying like, oh, this is a rip off, and just actually you're not prepared to spend that money on that, and it's just weird. I just find it sometimes weird. Like we had this with Rita Rope. Like there's no way I would. I think how much was a Rita Rope? It wasn't far.
I was
off
just gonna say.
I
feel like it was more.
Was it 350?
I think,
I feel like
or maybe
it
it
was
got resold, but I can't remember what it was. It might have been 150. But like, I wouldn't have bought that. But then it's like we're in a hobby where, like, we spend our money on like theme parks and spooky stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, to a lot of people, they would be like, "What are you wasting your money for?" But it means a lot to us. So it just confuses me sometimes when you got other people shaming other people for buying something that means a lot to them. It's like, let's just chill, man. Like,
okay. No, it was at 375.
I knew it was more than that.
10 of them.
I thought it was.
Wow. How many blasters were there? I don't even know how many blasters there were for sale. Did they say?
There's quite a few.
Right.
I don't know how many they actually got them because I put them on that like plinth thing, which I think is
that's
way
cool.
too high. But it was cool. But I thought it was like it made
It was very tall.
Like it should. I would have put it a little bit smaller. To be honest,
Going to struggle to get it in your shelf. I think with that on.
Yeah, I wouldn't get it on that if I had that.
No.
But
make a wicked headphone stand though.
But yeah, it's one of them. I can't remember what I was going to say now. Yeah, what was really weird, like we noticed, was that some of them are like, I've seen ones that are like white, and then some that are green.
Yeah,
and my one's green, and I found out that I think it's the white ones that are newer. Was like the replacement.
I was going to say, is it to do with all the lights in there and they've
no, it's like
out over time?
Jesus, sorry about that. That was a no, apparently the newer ones that got replaced are white. But the original ones are green. So it could be the other way around. But that was what I found out apparently. But yeah, that's that. So there's a blaster.
From the pasta.
Blaster from the pasta.
Blaster from the pasta.
It's cool though that they've done
Making me
that.
hungry.
I mean, it makes you think like what they could have done with that Nemesis track if they're not going to sell any, they haven't kept any back at all. Imagine how quick that'd sell out if they sold that. Like,
well, that's the thing. Like it's been like a long time since Dual Shot. So it's you just put them on sale now.
Yeah. So it makes you hopefully they're going to go through like they've obviously got a parts area and a service area in Alton Towers, and if they go through it and they find some stuff they think people might buy, they should just auction it and just see what happens, because at the end of the day, you're going to make money from pretty much nothing if it's just sat there doing nothing. If it doesn't have any purpose, like if it don't work, or if it doesn't work on an attraction or something, or if it's an old piece of something, then get it sold. Blackpool do it all the time, and they make a shit ton of money from it.
Mate, it's a win-win, right?
Because, of course it is.
Like, there's no way I think the days have gone where I would spend like hundreds on one piece of memorabilia. I did do it a few times. I've got like an old sign from Pirate Adventure from Drayton, and obviously stuff on here.
Oh yeah.
But I think these days I'd rather spend that money on trips rather than something. I'm running out of space as well, and it's just like, but that's where I'm deciding to put my money. But you always have this thing, there's people who will go like, oh, how do you afford to do this and that and like these trips and stuff, and it's like you save
yeah
money. Like,
it's not even like I'm rich or like I make more money than anyone or anything. It's just what I choose to save for and what I choose to spend money on.
Don't spend just loads of money on like I don't buy like t-shirts anymore, like coaster t-shirts, unless I really want it. But like when I went on this America trip, I really wanted to buy t-shirts. I bought one because anything I saw I just didn't like the quality of it, didn't like the designs. I don't buy resins, I don't buy mugs, I don't buy pins, I don't buy anything. So like I just save money, whereas there's a lot of people who will just buy absolutely everything, and that's fine because that's what I want to spend their money on, innit? But it's just like this hobby is funny because everyone has like a preference on what they want to spend their hard-earned money on. And just don't shame people for spending money on this and that. It's like when that guy like did how many goes on Enzo, and everyone was like, "You're silly for spending that much money." And it's like, if he wants to do that, that's what he wants to do with his money. I don't get that. But anyway, that's my rant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone enjoy theme parks in your own way.
So Emma went to Oakwood, didn't you? To
I
try
did.
out Megaphobia for the second time. It's Gravity Group retrack.
It was very good. Like I said, people that know me, or I have said it on here a few times before, I rode it a couple of times, obviously before it closed, and I wasn't impressed. Like at the time that I rode it, it just wasn't running well. I think Sean went after me and he said it was incredible, but just at that time, it wasn't very good in my opinion. It was very sluggish and just didn't give me the wow factor for what I thought it'd be. So I was really excited, obviously, when we heard about the retrack and everything, to get back and give it a second chance. And it is, honest to God, like a brand new roller coaster. It paces incredibly well. The first 3/4 of the ride are mind-blowingly good. The last quarter, to me, like lets it down a little bit. It just kind of drops that pacing and trundles back to the station. But the first 3/4 gave me like Troy vibes. It was like packed with airtime. It was throwing you about in a good way. It wasn't remotely rough at all. It still had obviously the feeling of a Woody, but it just felt insane. And on that back row as well, the airtime on the first drop was stupid. You're just thorough. I do think that you got the better airtime overall at the front, like pushed up into the airtime. I
got that even before, definitely.
But it's definitely like wilder at the back in terms of the rest of the ride experience. Just to be controversial, not everyone's going to agree with me, but I still think Nash is better for me.
Controversial opinion.
It's just better. It's just better. I like a raw cookie. It's just better, okay? But like, it's 99% of the ride is now incredible, absolutely incredible. It's so fast. It's mad airtime, and it just carries the speed all the way through until the last 20 seconds, I'd say. And it's just, I don't know. I'm just so glad that Oakwood did that, rather than either leaving it to just kind of get worse and worse or sacking it off altogether. They've brought like a whole new lease of life back into the ride, and it still only runs on one train, like, but I mean, if anyone's ever been to Oakwood, it's not the most heaving park in the world.
No,
it's manageable.
It's not. Yeah.
And even when it was reasonably busy when we were there, it's a fucking mooch. Like in terms of the overall ride experience now, I just highly urge everyone to go and give it a go, because it was insanely good. Even at the beginning of the day, it hauled ass around the track, but by the end of the day, it was flying round.
Was it dry, or had it been raining or anything?
It had rained. It just stopped raining when I rode it in the morning, and it hauled, and then it was sunny for the rest of the day, and it was like double the speed by the end of the day, like most Woodies anyway. But it just carries the speed so well. Like the double downs and double ups make a massive difference, and you get insane airtime on them. It's just good. Like I'd urge everyone to go and give it a go, because it is now up there with really good Woodies, just not better than Nash.
It was my favorite UK wooden coaster before the retracking, so I can only imagine how well it's running now.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that though, because I was worried, because when I did Grizzly at King's Dominion, like, you know, that had the same treatment to it, and to me that just made the old parts feel even worse, and it was like it was just not great when we did it on that current day, but it was an absolutely insanely hot day, so that could have had something to do with it. But no, it's good. I can't wait to get out there again. Get out there again. It is basically like a foreign country, basically.
Yeah, it is. I mean, from Manchester, it's just under 5 hours. So we did break it up. We stopped at West Midlands Safari one day, and then we went to Zip World, which wasn't too far from there, to do the mountain coaster, which was surprisingly good as well. I would recommend that. So you can make a couple of days out of it, and a good little cred run there and back as well.
Yeah, nice. I think we did it in about, what is it for us now when we did it? I think, if I remember rightly, let me just check before I just get this drastically wrong.
It took Hannah and Maggie came with us, and they're not far from you. It took them about 3.5 hours.
Yeah, 3.5 hours for us. So not actually that bad. Yeah, that'll be fine. I'll get there soon. But there's so many places I want to go. So many places I need to go back. I haven't even been to Thorpe Park this year at all. I need to go back. So cool. I saw Gecko was asking about me and Joe's Efteling trip and Flying Dutchman. So yeah, we basically we was on a family cruise. We went to Amsterdam. We did an evening in Amsterdam. We've been to Amsterdam so many times, and we were just like, we've done this, and then we just
Sorry.
last minute.
The
What?
statement family cruise in Amsterdam just doesn't sit right.
It doesn't sit right with me.
Family
It's a
destination
very
of
historic
Europe, bro.
place. What you on about? Like, it's not just one thing.
Some lovely
Two
church.
Take away the seediness. It's actually.
Can you imagine if the whole city? Imagine if the whole city was literally just red light district.
Yeah.
It's just
I
one
mean,
street.
it's not far off, to be honest. But no, it's like, you know, we was on this cruise. There's a lot of elderly people on it. There's a cruise on it, so there is. But yeah, like it's people go there because it's a very historic place. I'll have you know, James.
It is very pretty.
Yeah,
From what I remember.
But me and Joe have been to Amsterdam. We've done Amsterdam a lot, and so we did an evening there, and then we just thought, you know what, we've got our Pleasure Beach passes. Let's just go to Efteling. It was really easy to get to from. We've never done public transport to Efteling. We've always rented a car because it's always been part of a longer trip or something. So yeah, it took us about an hour and a half, or maybe close to 2 hours to get there. So it was like it was about an hour and a half. Yeah, because it was an hour train and then a half an hour bus, and it's like a proper Efteling vinyl up bus, which is really cool. And yeah, so we went there and it was great. We had a really good day. So we finally got on the new version of Flying Dutchman. And basically, if you didn't know, they used to have a massive water curtain in like one of the main scenes, and they've got rid of that now because apparently it was like really, it just didn't run very well. It's the reason it had a lot of downtime. Apparently, this is what I get told, but I don't know that for sure. So they've got rid of that, and they've basically just built this massive ship graveyard in there instead now, and they've definitely updated the lighting and made it look. And I've got to say, I did really like the water curtain because it was huge and it was kind of a spectacle. Because you would just see it. It's big water curtain, obviously projected on it was a big ship, and then it would just fall, and then you'd go through it, and it was honestly massive. But I don't think this has taken anything away from it. I think it was your first time doing it, like you'd still have just as good as experience as before. And yeah, it's just brilliant. It's just I think it is my favorite dark ride. It's been a few years since I've done it. I went back on it, and the queue and the actual ride experience is just one of the best things ever. I absolutely love that ride. So that was great. We did.
Did you get wet on that ride?
It depends. You know what? The time before we went on it, I had never got wet on it. So you get on there and you get this false sense of like comfort. And we did the last ride I did on it a few years ago, before this trip. I went on it and I got absolutely drenched. I don't know why. It was just, I was just in the right spot and it just drenched me. And I was like, "What?" I was like, "How?" But I think I don't know if I think I'm correct in saying this, but I think they can again like adjust the level of that lake bit,
right?
Make it to how wet you get, because I've heard like the colder it gets.
Right.
But Lev will probably be the best person to ask about that.
Yeah, Lev, let us know.
But yeah, it's great. So then we did George and the Dragon. Obviously that was the first time we've done it since they've had the retrack with the Titan track. Where if you didn't know, that's GCI's version of the RMC iBox track, and it was really it was weird because it was smooth, but it wasn't Intamin prefab smooth.
Oh.
Or iBox smooth. It's got like ridges in it that still has like this kind of rattle that you want on a wooden coaster. So it felt smooth, but it still felt wooden. It was really weird. It was really weird. Hard.
Despite the fact that it's all steel.
Yeah, we were just like, well, it kind of makes sense because they're only doing like certain corners, I guess, that are like have the most wear and tear on them. so they're replacing it, but it's not taking anything away from the wooden side to it. So
Mm.
it'd be interesting to do like a whole. I don't know if GCI have any plan to do a complete coaster with the Titan track. I'm not sure about that, but as a solution to like problematic corners and turns and stuff, it is probably a good way to do it. So that was interesting.
Nice.
The Dream Fluke, since they've updated all that, I don't think you'd have noticed unless you knew that they'd updated it. But there's definitely like a new. They basically just changed all the lighting fixtures to LED, and like there's a lot of projection backgrounds, but it's like not just like skies. So it just looks really kind of realistic and stuff. Updated all the smells and fixed some water features in there, and that was great as always. But yeah, it was just a great day. We got to, I don't know if you saw my Twitter post, I don't know if you did, about Dance Macabre area.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I didn't realize how many buildings they already had, like because they'd turned existing buildings into like part of the area, so you could actually go and see like what it was going to look like, and they had the actors around the area explain the story to you and stuff. So that was really, really cool. But yeah, apart from that, really good, successful trip. We saw a little bit of the construction for the new hotel, the Grand Hotel, next year. That's opening up next year, and it's huge. It's like it's going to be so grand. It gave me kind of the Liseberg, what was it, Grand
Curiosa.
Grand Curiosa.
I think it's going to give me that type of vibes. The way I was looking at the plans and stuff, it looks very much like that style. And it's like right next to the entrance. It's going to be on the actual park itself. So you're going to have an entrance to in and out, because at the minute their main hotel is like down the road slightly, and right, they've got like a Center Park style lake lodges type deal a little bit further down as well. So this is like the only hotel they've got that really is like fully there that you can go in and out. So that's going to be brilliant. Right. What I would say is, if it's your first, this sounds bad because Matt's like going there like next month, I think it is. But you'll have a great time. But I'd say if you're thinking about visiting and it's your first time, then maybe just wait till next year. I don't think it takes anything away from the part that there's construction going on, because they do really well to hide it all and stuff. But it's just like there's just going to be more to see next year. So you're going to just trust me, once you get to Efteling, you'll want to go back straight away. So then you may as well just go. You just may as well save it till next year now, I think. But yeah, it was great. Absolutely great now. Let me just see in the comments.
Glad to hear.
Have they started building it now? It was just flat when it January. Space is huge. Yeah, so it didn't look like there was building in terms of the hotel. It looked like there's no building there yet. But as we looked through it, they'd built like they'd dug in, all the foundations are in. So once the foundations are in and the basement's done, the rest of it goes up like very fast. So I think like if it's a summer opening next year, I don't think it will be like a spring opening or anything. I think it will be like a summer opening, if I'm honest. There we go. Bart's first walls of Grand Hotel will be placed later this month. Can't wait to see that being built. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's cool. And something I just, again, like the little details of Efteling is like they've got like all the hoarding around, and they've got this this picture of this pig in like building outfit. Like this team of pigs are building this hotel, and it's got like pictures of him like next to like all these like the Great Wall of China, and it's just everything like these pigs. But then they've got speakers around it, and then you're just hearing like little like ting 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 like building noises all around it. Cool. So like you go walking past it, but it's like very like fantasy-esque style, like
the Hex
noises.
Q line.
Yeah, it's like that. And I was just like, they've installed just like speakers just to like pump out like the noise of
it's mad,
it's just so funny. But yeah, it's like little details like that, which is amazing.
Love that.
I have no idea. But yeah, Bart said no in Efteling probably early July. So that must be like when they do it a lot. So Bart is like obviously the expert at the minute. They used the figureheads at the opening but removed them from the lift hill. So cool to see them now. Okay, that makes sense. Oh god, yeah. Bart's just giving us all the info. This is what I needed.
That's cool. There's a lot of
Yeah.
love for Efteling, isn't there?
Yeah, it's just I love it. I was really scared that like I'd go back and it was just not going to hit the same. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
love a park, and we haven't been in like 2 years. We'd been twice before, but yeah, it'd been 2 years since we passed, and it was like, is it still going to hit the same? And I was a bit stressed as well with work and things, and then we went there, and I was just like, it's hard to explain, but that type of park is, once you're there, it's like you're fully immersed in that place, and
Right.
it's just like, I don't know, it's just like the best de-stress in the world because it's such a relaxed place. It's not like full on adrenaline, like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Need
but
to
yeah,
get out there. Definitely need to get out
it's
there.
just so good. It's so good.
I want to ride Baron so bad. It looks fucking great.
Baron's amazing. I mean, it's not like, I've said it before. Like,
the coaster,
in terms of a coaster is
the coaster itself. It's
but the
not
whole
like,
thing is amazing.
But I just want to see it. I want to see it in person. Like, that's.
I remember the first time I saw Baron, and it was just took my breath away. It just looks like it looks in photos. When you and you think, oh, it's not going to look as good, and it just does. It just looks phenomenal.
It's like the first time I saw Taron, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is what it is. That is what I've been seeing all this time.
I think his photos of Taron don't do it justice because you don't realize how encompassed it actually is.
Once you actually get in the queue line of it, you're like, oh, wait, what? This is mad.
It's hard to, because like with Taron, it's hard to do a photo. You can't really encapsulate the whole thing in one photograph.
No, the only thing you can do is take it off that like walkway by the side of it as you look over the first time as you come through the archway. That's the only place you can really see it all.
I don't know. I think you can with a wide enough lens. But my thing is you can't take enough photos of it. Because
I can't remember, Joe. 120 something.
Yeah.
No. I got something close.
It was like 50.
If not.
Yeah, it was like 50 odd for the actual track going over itself. And then 120
we had this argument during the quiz.
This was definitely a quiz question.
There was not specific wording to tell us.
137 for some reason.
There was specific wording in the question. I remember putting it.
Oh my god, the quiz champion's still kicking off about the quiz.
I have 116 in my mind.
116.
So Gecko said, could you stick Toverland between Efteling and Phantasialand? You could. I think you could. I mean, the way we did it was Efteling, Toverland, and then Wallaby Holland. But you could
love Toverland.
I think you could circle
when
back.
When I looked into like doing all of those parks, like what I had pointed out, staying in Eindhoven, and then like you've got Efteling, Toverland, Bobbejaanland, Phantasialand, Movie Park Germany. They're all within like 30 to 90 minutes away.
Really? Wow.
Like driving time.
Yeah.
Like there's like 6 or 7 parks, like all within like half an hour to an hour and a half drive away from the city of Eindhoven.
Toverland and Phantasialand are about an hour 11 minutes away from each other, and it's a little bit longer than that to go from Efteling to Phantasialand, so it's probably a good way of doing it, to be honest.
You could definitely do
Eindhoven is a great central base from what I looked at a while back.
Eindhoven is good. It's just I just think it makes sense, like if you can, like it made so much more sense to just road trip it, because you're paying cheaper. Because Eindhoven is it's a city. Do you know what I mean? So you're paying for a hotel where you could just like drive, and it's about the same amount once you throw that into it. If you're okay with driving, obviously.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It depends how you prefer to do the trip, right? And then I mean, like, there's probably, because it's a city, there's probably Airbnb options, or like you can find like apartment hotels on Booking.com, etc., etc.
But then you're doing like, because I don't know, because if you did it from I remember when we first did the Netherlands trip, and it was like the tip we got was like base yourself in Eindhoven, but then we just saw it and it was like, wow, it's like an hour and a half trip there, hour and a half trip back, to then go an hour and a half back up and a half back down. So that's why we decided to just like
instead of going
Yeah.
from like accommodation near each park and then just doing
Yeah.
the whole trip and then not having to
just like, you know what, like stop, like staying close to each park.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
That makes sense as well. That makes sense
Yeah,
as well.
because like then you're not having to do double the trips, and you get to experience like a bit of like the local places. Because especially when you go to like Toverland and Wallaby Holland, that we just went to some really nice, like just little local restaurants. It was really cool.
One thing
Yeah.
I noticed
No, that
when
makes
I
sense.
went
That
to the
makes sense too.
Netherlands, driving between Wallaby and Toverland, nobody in the Netherlands has a shit house. Like,
Do you mean a toilet, or do you mean like?
No, like a rubbish house.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
no-
Oh, like
nobody lives
shit
in
house.
Now,
shithole.
Sean.
Not a
Get
nobody
the
has a
Not
fuck
an
out.
outhouse.
Yeah,
Not an out-
Emma's disgusted
what
because
house?
no one had a shed they shit in. Like,
No, like honest to God, like everywhere we drove in the Netherlands, we never saw like a rundown house. I
A
think we said the
bad-looking
same thing,
house.
did we not, Sean, when we went to Plopsa? I
Yeah.
remember saying the same thing in the car. We were like, "Why does nobody live in a shithole here? Like everything is nice. Like
We're
That's
big
what
houses."
we're just
Yeah,
a bunch
they-
of scruffy bastards. That's why.
Because we live in
are
a
UK.
crap like a shithole, mate. That's why.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm sure there are like areas like anywhere.
Just
But-
everyone lived in a lovely house, and I was like, "What?"
They'll be in the probably more built up cities. Like cities like Brussels probably have little sections of it that
They
just
don't have, like,
could be.
council estates. the
Don't get me
Netherlands.
started on Brussels, mate.
Kira said quiz.
Yes.
Yes, quiz. Christmas. You're right. Thanks.
Halloween and Christmas.
So
Let's go.
Merlin Magic and more said, how many parks can you do in one trip before you get burnt out? Would hate to have Phantasialand as the last part to be completely wiped. I think so. That's an interesting question, because me and Joe were talking about this when we did our American trip. I keep saying America trip, our East Coast America trip. We did like 7 parks in 7 days, and by the end of that, we were like,
I could never.
we're done. We kind of we
I
wasn't
don't
like,
think
but
I
I wouldn't
could.
say we were burnt out, but we were like, if I was going to do it again, we'd have like at least one day like in between them all them parks. I'd do it in like maybe like 3 batches of 3. I'd say.
Yeah, I could never do. Even when I do it here and I go like Blackpool one day and Towers another, I'm like, after 2 days, I'm like, right, I want to
Yeah.
rest. I've had enough.
I think because of that, it depends on the person.
It does
It
depend on the
depends
person,
on
but I think
how
I am
how much
extremely
you-
unfit.
how much you
so
can.
but I think if you
I
like,
enjoy a rest.
I can just keep on going. Like in terms of like, I can just like when we went to Florida for the first
same.
time. When we went to the Florida for the first time, when Joe needed like rest days because she's normal, and she was like, I'm gonna just sit by the pool.
Yeah,
And I
pretty
was
much.
just going to parks by myself because I would rather just be walking about and stuff. So I'm one of them weirdos that could just keep doing it all the time.
So like my trip in 2019 where I did basically I did a road trip with my friend Camden from Atlanta to Southern Ohio, and then after that flew down to North Carolina for Carowinds and Dollywood, flew back up to Virginia, and then up to Pennsylvania. Well, met up with friends in Pennsylvania to drive over to Cedar Point for 3 days. Now, to some people, that's like they wouldn't do something like that because just all the up and down, like going up and down the East Coast and stuff, but then also just the amount of parks we covered. Like during the road trip, we were doing 2 days. Like some days we did Worlds of Fun and Six Flags St. Louis in the same day. We did Six Flags Over Georgia and Alabama Adventure in the same day. There's a whole lot of driving. But to your point, Sean, about taking rest days, I think that's important across the board. I didn't plan for a rest day in the middle of it, but I ended up with one where I was just chilling in Charlotte, North Carolina for an entire day, just waiting for my friend's schedule to line up with mine and for him to fly over to meet me in Charlotte for Carowinds and Dollywood. But like that day was great for me to just recharge after the road trip before we carried on with the second part of the trip and stuff. But all of that to say that when we eventually got to Cedar Point for the last 3 days of the trip, like it wasn't a case of being really burnt out for it. I was ready to go. Like I was ready for 3 packed days at Cedar Point, and it ended up being some of the best days on the trip.
Yeah.
So it kind of just does depend on, like you said, whether or not that about yourself, like you can just keep going through parks and they all hit the same as each other, or if you're a person that needs, maybe trips to be a little bit smaller so you can really dedicate the amount of energy that you can give to each park without doing it for yourself.
Yeah, when we was in America, like I did most of the driving until we got to Busch Gardens, and Gemma did a little bit, but I did most of the driving, and then I was still like, I don't run out of energy when I'm going, especially like theme parks. Like I just don't. But I do think that like you don't realize how much it's like taken out of you. Like I think we're
blinded by creds.
Yeah, you're.
Yeah. Then you'll get back off the Yeah,
it was so hot as well, and I think like I noticed it when we was like at Carowinds, and I was just getting like I felt fine, but I think I was just getting like a bit ratty. Do you know what I mean? When you're with people so long, and I'm like just being a bit short with Joe or something, and I was like, actually, I probably am just like mentally drained right now, so like I just need to sit and chill for a bit.
That's
So I think like also it just like it can come out in with the people you're with and stuff if you're there for so I think it is important if you can like have. The thing is, when you're planning these trips, you want to like, you're not thinking of rest days. You're like, how much can I possibly do in the shortest amount of time and the cheapest amount what possible? So you try and go for as much as you can. But if you've got the luxury of being like, let's just have a chill day. Let's maybe just go see some like roadside attractions or stuff like we want to do. That's not just theme parks, maybe. Or just have a bit of a break from it.
Like, I mean, on your rest days, and I mean, like, I'd be willing to bet that not a lot of people think about this either. Maybe some time apart from who you're with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, are you comfortable with having that conversation with the person that you're planning a trip with?
Yeah.
I need some time away.
Sure.
Leave me alone.
I need to go around the
No,
park.
it's funny to joke about, but
you are doing my fucking head in.
It'd be a real thing to make sure, because I'm sure you're not the only one who, like, fatigue comes out in just your reluctancy with being around people.
If you like your social battery,
I'm a bit of the same.
Yeah. Like, say if you're social, like a lot of people do have social batteries. I think that relates to a lot of people who like theme parks tend to be like not massive extroverts. And get along with people and stuff. So like you will have a social battery like decline in some way. So so next time we're going to trip, me and Joe will have a day apart from each other. I'm joking.
I'd love it if I'd love it if
Joe, I just need a day away.
Into your camera now and
either
slapped you in the face. Just like
I mean, like however it works out for whoever's involved. Like you may just have some time on your rest day away from each other, or you might just, like, on the park days, you go off and do your thing for a little bit. I'll go off and do mine. I'll go take photos. I'll do whatever. Like, just be willing if it is a benefit to both of you and the trip overall. Yeah, planning some time apart. Why not?
That's good thinking. Good thinking. Matt saying I'd rather have 2 days in one park and have 2 chilled days and have a day off. That's a good idea. I mean, the problem is, again, like when me and Joe did the Netherlands trip in 2019, we did actually have 2 days in each park, and I just don't think it was like, I think sometimes like 2 days was definitely at Efteling, but then we went to Toverland. It was like 2 days there. It felt like a wasted day, but I get the idea of like, instead of just having a chill day, just have like 2 days at a park and just take it easy. But I think when it came to America, like there was stuff that we all wanted to do. Like we wanted to like explore like Pigeon Forge, and we just didn't get time to do that. We had 2 days at Busch Gardens, which are meant to be 2 chill
Pigeon Forge
days.
is Pigeon Forge is a great area. So just
I know, yeah, we really wanted to go around it. But, I think I just think we had 2 days at Bush, but then obviously we ended up going back to get Intimidator, so that didn't work out very well. So that could have been a nice chill day, to be fair. But yeah, there we go.
I do love a day just going taking photos though. I would love that.
Man, like there's just so much.
I always plan those in now.
Yeah, I mean, I could do with that more, to be honest. Okay, let's just going through. Yes, John, having to check in every evening.
Even just like a couple of hours, you know.
Yeah.
Just take a break from riding, just go and take some photos, and because I like vlogging because we've talked about this. It's like just having the memories just there on the spot. It's great to look back on. But I get burnt out from vlogging from time to time, and it's just nice just to do what you like to do more sometimes. Just take photos and videos of the actual thing you're there for. That's what I like to do. And if it makes it into the vlog, it makes it into the vlog. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I just feel like if you're at a new park, it's so hard to vlog and take everything in at the same time. So I ain't doing that anymore. I've already said I'm not doing that anymore. But I'm definitely taking time out to do what I really enjoy doing at a theme park, which is taking photos of roller coasters. I just love doing it.
Yeah.
So I always try and plan a couple
And then it's
of
also
hours
just
at
like
least, just doing what I want to do.
It's quite hard though when you.
It's just your creative. It's just your creative outlet. Like obviously these parks are such melting pots of creativity and imagination from the guest experience to whoever came up with them and stuff. And they're just a medium for you to have that creative outlet.
Yeah.
You don't have to be bouncing from ride to ride all the time. Like you take the time to, establish your creativity that way or however way that you want. It's another way to escape from real life a little bit.
I this is something that the last trip we went on kind of opened my eyes though, because the American parks we're doing, you're talking like 15 coasters in each park.
Right.
Like you haven't got chance to do anything. Like you're like, you've got, if it's your first like trip to these parks, there is no taking, like there's no, you feel guilty if you stop and just try and get a shot of a coaster. Like it's mad. Like it's pure like credit anxiety. Like I'm like, I want to get on this, I want to get on that, because it's not all crap coasters either. It's like, it's not just obviously there are some like little kiddie stuff thrown in there and stuff, but they're genuine coasters I want to get on and hopefully get re-rides. So it's different when you go to European parks. They tend to not have as much of a full lineup as a lot of the American ones we was doing. So that's just something I think that added to it, was the fact that we was doing that. But like I say, I could have, when we did Dollywood, I was like, I want to come back for a second day. I want to carry on. Can we go to another? And we was like, no, we got to get a flight. So
I tried a chill day at Volcano Bay once.
They will kick us out of this country, bro. Like we need to get this flight.
I tried a chill day at Volcano Bay once and walked just as many steps as a park day. It fucks you up.
Don't fall into that trap of going a chill day at a water park. It's not.
It's not a chill day.
It's not. It's worse.
I am more, anytime I've done a water park, I am more tired at the end of that day.
Yeah. Just swimming as well.
It can be more strenuous because you're swimming about everywhere.
Yeah.
Although the lazy.
I think it's because you're having fun, you don't realize how worn out you're getting.
Yeah.
And then you get out of the pool and you start walking normally, and it's just like, ow.
Not to mention your feet are on fire if you don't have your,
Yeah.
Right. So hot, Volcano Bay's floor. Oh my god, it is literally like the floor is lava. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It actually is. All right, so it is a spooky episode, so we should just try and get on to some spooky
Let's
stuff.
go for spooks. Has anyone seen the
time of year,
Halloween Horror Nights stuff coming
Yeah,
out?
man.
Yeah, I was about to say Halloween Horror Nights is already underway. It's already started.
There's Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Spooky time.
Big Dave.
Spooky Dave.
Right, Dave.
Did you steal that
Oh,
on the
big
ghost train
Dave.
at Blackpool? It's off one of the bikes on the ghost train at Blackpool. That Dave.
Yeah. How much did you
Yeah.
pay for that?
So
How much did you pay
speaking
for
of-
Dave, Emma?
Dave was £5 from Wilco's, because they're closing down. So it was
Are
like
they?
90% off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
from
yeah, you won't know,
Wilco.
will you?
Mikhail,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
English news for Mikhail. Wilco's is no more.
Had no
God.
idea.
They
So
have gone
everything
bankrupt.
was 90%
Have they?
off. So I got
Yeah.
Dave.
Oh.
It's
And
UK
it
news,
fits in my
and
living room.
Wilco's is in other places than England, isn't it?
I don't
No.
know.
I don't think
Obviously not Canada.
It's in Scotland and Wales, surely.
Ain't over. Ain't reached over
Yeah,
here.
that's still the UK.
No,
got a
she said
point.
English news.
We know what we mean.
I have no idea.
Halloween Horror Nights looks amazing.
Not if you're Scottish. That's offensive. What am I about?
Shit.
We don't have anyone Scottish in our chat, do we?
Yeah, we
Do we?
probably do. I think
Oh,
we
do
I was about to say we
Alright,
probably do.
Yeah.
We have plenty. We have plenty of Scottish listeners.
Big up M&D's.
Um, so yeah, Halloween Horror
yeah.
Nights
Speaking on
is-
Halloween Horror Nights, yeah, I am in the works of
Oh,
planning / hoping to
Mm.
oh,
try again with getting there.
oh.
just not
really?
just not in September.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, they so it's funny because Universal keeps extending the amount of days that they do Halloween Horror Nights for each
Yeah,
year,
it's
and now
ridiculous.
it's going until the weekend of November 4th and 5th, so it's going past Halloween.
Good.
And
As it should.
I'm hoping to be in town that last weekend.
Nice. Sick.
So we
Hopefully,
we would have loved to gone back, but it was out of this America trip or this one, and the last
You-
one, considering how much we did, cost a fraction of what
That's
Florida
fine.
did last year. So it was a no-brainer for us. But it looks good. I think the scare zones looked better last year, but there's some
Yeah.
scare mazes this
Yeah.
year that look. Are just
apparently
looks
the scare
phenomenal.
mazes are really
Dueling
good.
Dragons
Again.
maze looks fucking insane.
It
Yeah.
does look really good.
Choose thy fate. You get to choose which path you take like
Yeah.
through different sections.
So let me find.
Really
I think it's
clever.
like one little It's like one little passageway, and it's similar
No,
to
there's
what they.
There's
Yeah,
two?
no, there's two, but it's,
Oh,
it's a
there's-
small little
There's
exit bit.
three.
No, there's two.
Oh no, the
it's far
last one
away.
is very small, and then you have.
It's
the
just a
Merlin
two-way.
come
If you
out,
watch
don't you?
Super Infused, they did them both at the same
Yeah.
time, and Sam and Jackie went both ways, and then just did them both. And one of them is like they have Merlin's head.
Yeah,
Ice King or whatever has Merlin's head, and then Merlin on the other one.
Yeah.
Merlin's like, you won, or whatever. So yeah, that looked really good.
Stranger Things looks.
Yeah,
Stranger Things
my
looks good.
my friend Sammy who lives down there. He works at Universal. I've not seen any of the any kind of footage into the scare mazes or just like the scare zones or whatever. But he's he says his top three like ones that he's most hyped for are Dueling Dragons, another one called Darkest Deal.
Yeah, that's
that
about.
looks
awesome.
That looks good.
insane.
That's like
Yeah.
based on what's his name? The artist.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Bye, Dave.
You sell your soul to the devil to become like an amazing musician.
That just sounds like it's really creative in terms of
Yeah.
what you could include in a scare maze
It is. It is
and like the kind of
ridiculously
interaction
good.
and stuff.
I've
And then-
seen all of the walkthroughs and they just
Have you?
look
Okay.
Yeah,
so good.
it's based on Robert Johnson,
That's
who
it.
was like a blues musician who
Robert
everyone
Johnson,
said like,
guitarist. Yeah,
like they sold his soul to get good at music.
because
and
it was
it's
just
kind of-
insane.
I remember listening to I listened to it's like paranormal.
Ah,
podcast.
the Crossroads. Soul is soul at the Crossroads.
Yeah, Soul is Soul,
that's
yeah,
it.
the Crossroads.
That's it.
And it was just that one stood out to me, to be honest. It looked really cool.
Yeah.
It's just
And
funny
then-
that now
and then-
I've been to Halloween Horror Nights, like it's funny because I've now experienced the mazes. I'm like
Yeah.
relating certain mazes to other ones and the
Ah.
places they're in.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, that one's replaced that one. It's got a
Ah.
similar type of like setup
Yeah.
in terms of the layout. Well, not necessarily the
in
layout.
terms of the actual infrastructure. of-
not even that, just like the way it flows through the maze. Like they are like very samey from year to year wherever they're located in a way. So for example, the Chucky maze, last year that was Blumhouse and that was Black Phone and Freaky, the two films that were like one maze but separated halfway through, and now it's just one big chucky maze, but it's like similar setup. And it's like even like
well, so yeah, like the infrastructure then.
But
like,
even
the
to me, like Dueling Dragons, even though it's such a different theme to what is it called? Dead Man's Wharf, was it? Dead Man. The pier one from last year. I can't remember what it's called now.
It sounds familiar.
Dead Man's Wharf. Or Dead Man's Pier. Dead Man's Pier it was last year. And like that one looks very like it doesn't look similar, but it has kind of similarities in terms of like you go from like a little bit to like a really epic scale part of it, and then back into like a little bit, and then it opens up again. Is
it in the same soundstage?
I think that one is. I'm gonna have to check now, but it's one of them sound stages that's by Rip Ride for sure.
Right.
Yeah. The other one that you mentioned was Classic Monsters as well, which I'm really interested in, because I don't know much about Universal Classic Monsters apart from like that, like they are who they are. I don't really know the stories that well. And with Epic Universe, including Dark Universe, which is basically their Classic Monsters land, like I think it'd just be really cool, really interesting to get clued up on kind of like what the lore behind those characters were. Another one that I am kind of just like really intrigued by as well. I don't know if you saw this one, Luke, but Oddfellows.
Yeah.
I've seen all of it.
Like Toxic Junkyard on steroids.
Yeah, yeah, basically,
literally Toxic Junkyard.
That one seems really intriguing to me in terms of because it's like Oddfellow is basically the guy who created Jack the Clown, right? Or is
no, he killed him or something. Like I can't remember the story of it, but he's definitely involved in it. Yeah, no, I think he did. I think he did create him.
Yeah, and his brother Eddie. Like I'm kind of at this point, I'm kind of just going off of what what
you've heard.
told me. But
no, it's so Dr. Oddfellow. It's he didn't create him. It's just because he's got like he runs a circus. So Jack is just like one of them people. That's
okay.
That's why he's like the icon this year, because he's with the icon he's bringing all these people together in a way. So that's basically the story of Dr. Oddfellow.
Okay, yeah, that just sounds super interesting to me. And then getting to finally see a Stranger Things maze. Like,
it looks incredible. Like the walkthroughs that I've seen, just one of the scenes in there, I won't spoil it for anyone, but one of the scenes in there is so clever. How they've integrated into a scare as well. It's amazing. It's a really big part of the series as well, the scene of it. But it just I'm just
craziness because I didn't get to go and see the first two Stranger Things mazes they did a few years ago. Like I'm just excited to see that, whether or not it'll be as well executed as the more creative mazes that they've got and stuff. I'm just excited to see a Stranger, because I love Stranger Things. I'm rewatching season 2 right now, but I love Stranger Things, and
that's cool. Probably be me. I think something I picked up on all the vlogs that I was watching was like it was one of them things where I think for me Halloween Horror Nights will be something I do kind of like every few years, because I just don't think it changes as even though all the mazes changing themselves.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
from the what you've seen, itself doesn't. Because I was going around it and I was like, okay, well that's with the scare zones and stuff. I was like, it's very samey. Obviously, if it lived in America, I'd be there all the bloody time. If I had loads of money, if I could, I would.
Florida, then
you have to weigh the options up, don't you? I think.
Yeah,
of course. Hopefully next time I go, it'll be like a few years in between, and it'll be like a complete change around of everything.
To what degree do you did you experience the like? Because I've heard a lot of people say like the mazes can get very Conga line-ish. Like,
Yeah,
just
no,
because of how
it's
busy the event is.
no, it
Did you,
just
did you
is.
see much of that when you went?
Yeah, no, that's the way it's designed. It is a conga line. Like there never is not a conga line. Like it's
Okay.
But this is the strange thing about how they make their mazes is
Right.
that it doesn't take anything away from them in a way, because the way that they like, say in the UK scare mazes, the actors are let free to do whatever they want, to go through all the different rat runs. And they have to be creative. Whereas with Halloween Horror Nights, like an actor has a set position and they basically are an animatronic. They just do a scare, a sound blasts out, and then they reset, and then they just keep doing that same scare. That's all they do. Sounds like a bit crap, but it works so well because it just means that everyone's getting the same scares. They get to be really creative with the scares because they will distract you by scaring you one way and then bam, giving you like another scare the other way.
A lot of distraction scares. I've noticed.
Yeah,
They're using it a lot,
and they're very like windy paths. So like even though you're in a massive conga line, you could be with like 5 people. Like you just can't tell. So
right?
Yeah,
and it's it's constantly moving. You don't stop.
Oh, that's good. That's good then.
Yeah, there's you'll know when you go as well if you do go. Like there's people throughout. There's like staff throughout the whole maze that sometimes can put you out. So
they are there, right?
Yeah, they just stand there watching you. So sometimes it throws you out of the immersion a little bit because there's just someone in just normal, just standing there.
Hi, are you okay? Are you?
But they just like kind of stare at you,
yeah,
menacingly. So it was a bit weird at the same time.
Is that just to keep things moving?
Yeah, I think they just make sure everyone, like, because when we was in there, the guy in front of us, his glasses basically just got like these like dangly things got hold of his glasses, and his glasses just got like went flying off him. And then so like the staff member like helped him find his glasses and get him and everything. So they're just there just to keep it moving. So it's just it is a full on conga line, but because they know that, they creatively get around that fact that it's always going to be like a conveyor belt of people. So it's just the way it goes.
That's dope.
I mean, even when we did the scare maze at Leesburg, they had us touch shoulders. That was that was
weird, wasn't it?
That was weird.
Yeah, it wasn't the type of maze to need that either.
No, and when you
used to have holding shoulders as well back in the day.
Yeah, it did.
Which is really annoying when you have people.
I think that's the last time I did it. Yeah. but
it's not even that, like the whole touching shoulders thing, it's just like generally irritating because you end up getting pushed about because people are like someone's like legging it off
people
in front
pushing
of you,
behind,
you want to go slow.
Yeah. So when we did Warwick Castle's haunted castle last year, so their scare mazes, and one of them, it's not all of them, it's just one of them, they got us to hold a massive piece of rope. Like they just gave us this rope, and they were like, everyone in our group, like, hold the rope, and we had to go through holding this rope.
Tug of war going around the scare me.
And Joe was first, and then like we had like 5 like proper blokey bloke type, like on the lash, on the piss,
lads.
And their idea of fun, which I've got to admit, I was laughing because it was funny. Was like basically stopping still and making Joe not being able to run off. So it was kind of funny, but also like kind of like it kind of broke the immersion of trying to be in a scare maze. But you know, they had fun. But that was the weirdest one, like holding a bit of rope.
I did a maze where you were meant to follow a bit of rope, and I didn't realise. So that was fun.
Did that last year?
Where did you
pitch
go?
Darkness.
We went to Scream Fest Burton last year. Is
Scream
that where it was?
Fest.
I didn't know there was a rope either. I just walked into things.
I was just hand on the wall the entire way. If I moved my hand down about a foot, I would have found the rope. But I was just like,
we didn't know. We was with Carl and Chris and Gemma, and Chris was just screaming like a girl because it was pitch black and just walking into things, grabbing people like not on purpose. And then we got out, and Carl was like, "Oh, did you not follow the rope?" There was a rope. Would have made life easier.
I found the rope literally just as I was leaving that section.
I found no rope.
I
just walked into many people.
Yeah.
And it was weird halfway through the person with the night vision goggles.
I thought it was a robot.
No, it's a person with night vision.
Scared of robots?
Yeah.
AI maze.
I don't like them. They're too like they could take over the world. Like it's
Yeah,
they're
but
just-
like that's no, I get actual robots, but like a human playing a
People dressed
robot.
as
How is that
robots?
scary?
Like,
just robots in general. Like no, it just doesn't sit right with me, Sean. It just doesn't.
That's so funny.
You must
must
hate
have been
that film.
hilarious.
iRobot, then,
Yeah, I was
don't
gonna say, yeah,
No,
No,
so
it's
many
horrible.
of these jokes we can
Those
do.
really
Like-
realistic robots that run, the ones that run, or they
you?
can
I
move
love that
like a
movie.
human.
I think
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
it's
horrible. It's nightmare fuel. It's like it's too real. I don't like it.
that's
So
fun.
shall we get onto some mazes that are close to home?
Nah, they're all
Um,
shit.
so-
let's crack on.
I mean, take it from
Damn.
someone who's done Halloween Horror Nights. They ain't all shit. Like, there's genuinely some of my favorite horror mazes I've done in the UK are here.
That's fair.
So they ain't shit. They're just different. They're just very different. That like this is something I thought about Halloween Horror Nights was like, it's not better or worse than UK mazes. They're just very different.
That's good.
Because I really missed we did like 3 nights of Halloween Horror Nights, and I really missed like just having someone like actually in my face and being like a human. Because
Yeah.
after a while, Halloween Horror Nights, it's just the same person going, like just resetting. And you don't
Yeah.
know how many times you do the maze.
The
There's
resets
no,
are so quick, aren't they?
yeah,
they're like-
yeah.
Duh.
But
Duh.
there's no like, there's nothing different from the different runs you do. It's just, but then in some ways that's good because it's like doing
Yeah.
a dark ride where you just get to look at more things around and experience it.
yeah.
But I think the joy of some of the ones in this country and probably European ones and probably some in America as well that aren't
They're
at the
all
big parks is that
Slightly different.
you're going to get a different run through no matter what you do because it
Yeah.
depends what the actor's doing at the time. You know, it depends how they're feeling or what type of actor's in there. So
Oh, how many there is?
Yeah,
That's a
how many
big-
there is.
That's a big one. Yeah.
So let's get this one out of the way because I know what everyone's view is going to be on it. Let's go on to Scarefest. So we got the we've had the
Is
release.
Nemesis testing yet?
We've had the
What
release
everyone's gonna be
of
saying.
the Scare Mazes and Scare Zone.
Yeah, I got scared.
Hey, Scare Zone.
Whoop, whoop.
Obviously, people
Actually,
have
to be
been-
fair, it sounds like quite a good Scare Zone as well.
yeah.
Yeah, it does.
That's
Um,
the one decent sounding bit, honestly.
So we've had we know that we're getting Attic, which is coming back. We know we've got Darkest Depths. We've got Tiny's Revenge, which is Autumnville Mines. So a rehash. We don't
Is
know how.
Tiny the granddad?
No, Tiny's not the
Which one's
granddad. Tiny is the one at when the shotgun at the end, the one who comes out behind you.
Oh, okay.
It's always like a massive dude.
That's a big
He
motherfucker.
comes out.
the
It's
one in the
like-
pants.
No, that's granddad.
No,
That's Grandad.
Oh, is that
That was
Grandad?
granddad. That's
He
the guy I was
licked my
thinking.
ear hole once.
Ugh.
Actually, no, there's 2 pants. There's like the
What would your
granddad,
hole?
There's big,
And then
there's
there's-
big fat pants man.
but there is a pants man. But no, that's not Tiny.
Yeah, one in
Tiny
the
is
shower.
normally
Pants
the one.
man is
that's the-
hilarious.
Pants man, the shittest superhero ever.
Every year I'm like, there's the man in the pants.
When's he getting his MCU series?
It's happening.
So just to go through
Disney
it. So
Plus
Autumnville
Pants Man.
Mine Tours, Tiny Revenge. Rumors it is basically saying that the local law enforcement have raided the mines. So it's like a sequel to Mine Tours.
Okay.
But
Cool.
there's some teenagers that have gone missing,
Wow.
but they detained every single one except for Tiny. So Tiny's still on the loose.
Ooh, Tiny.
So that we know.
Scoundrel.
So that's that.
Dark
We now-
Shadow says, I can confirm Tiny is a new character. I'm way too obsessed with Alton not to know this.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I know the character names, so I do know.
Funny.
I do know which
I
ones are
know
which.
the
Sorry about
character
that, Dark Shadow.
names.
they're
Sorry if I
basically
shot
like
it wrong.
all the characters in the maze. It's not like obviously common knowledge, but when you're assigned a character in the maze, you've got like Baby Snatcher, Grandad Snatcher. You've got like they've all got their own kind of different names.
You wouldn't want to be called the baby snatcher, would you?
Not really.
Tiny is a new name,
Out of
but
all of
Tiny has always existed within the maze. If you get what I mean, he's
Yeah.
always been the guy who like chases after you out the exit maze.
Basically, someone really tall walks into the audition and go, "That's Tiny."
Matt,
Yep.
is it you?
It's Matt. That's all. It's Coaster Giants tiny.
I mean, Dark Shadow, I don't know if you know what I do, but I do know this stuff, man. Like, I do
You
know
should
for a
write
fact.
it on Twitter and just let everybody know.
I know.
That you knew before
I
everybody
know who
else knew.
I know who Tiny Character is.
I knew
Dark Shadow,
3
trust
years
me, he
ago
knows.
who it was. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's it. So yeah, new name, same character. That's what.
Is anything happening to the attic, do you reckon? I don't know.
I hope so. I don't like it.
No, but there are rumors saying like they can't have. I don't know. There's rumors saying that they might not be able to have mazes inside the towers for very much longer. I don't know how true that is, but that could change a lot of things, couldn't it? Really.
Well, I guess get in the attic because you might not be able to get back in the towers up there for the mazes if that's the case.
I don't know how quick that's going to be, but that's what everyone's saying on Twitter and stuff. But
I love going through. I love it when you're in the attic and you catch a glimpse of like the real walls, and you walk around.
Yeah, I think
it gives a proper real vibe to it.
It's very authentic, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it is.
And I love queuing up in the conservatory area.
Yeah, I love that.
Like, you know, at night when you're like,
purple light
nothing...
booming, fog going. That's a nice like.
Some of my most like my favorite memories are like queuing up for like Terror in the Towers back in the day, like at night. It was just so like it was so atmospheric with the music pumping out.
It changes when you walk through the marches. When you're going towards the conservatory and you're going into the attic at night, like when it's proper dark, like it's just such a vibe. I love it.
Because what I'll say is like I know people like want new things, and I genuinely I'm on the same thing now. Like I do want new things at towers, but if I think in, you know, like how like when sub Terror closed, and then people were saying like bring sub back, you know, Sanctuary was open for like 2 years, right? It was open out of Halloween season and stuff, and then people just stopped going to it and no one went to it, and then and now everyone's like get Sanctuary back. I just think like if you haven't experienced like all these mazes, like do it, because I think when we look back on this time, they have been they have outstayed their welcome now. A lot of these mazes have, but I also think it's a fucking solid lineup. If you imagine never been before, if you've
never been before, absolutely. Like
I just don't think like apart from, in my opinion, apart from Invitation, like it's like the most solid lineup we've had in ages. But
Darkest Depths is a stunning maze to walk around.
Stunning
the
maze.
Story is
very good maze.
Brilliant.
Fucking stinks though.
Mind Tours, yeah. Well, Mind Tours is a really cool experience. It just from like the pre-show onwards, it's just bonkers. Just
to be fair, like Mind Tours has always been like one of my favorite mazes.
It has
got a bit samey, but it just seems to be the more like bonkers of them all, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's more chaos. There's just chaos everywhere. From the start.
Very like quiet and a bit like. But
I think in terms of like lineup wise, they've got the best to suit like every type of fear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you're not scared of mines, the Mind Tours, you'll probably be scared of Attic. If you're not scared of Attic, you'll probably, and then if you're not scared of either, then you'll probably be scared of like Darkest Depths. Like there's different, they appeal to different fears, but I think they won't be. I don't think these mazes will be around for much longer. So I do think like if you've not done them, I'm just maybe talking to like younger ones, younger viewers, or just people who are scared to do them. I'll just try and push yourself to do them. Because I think
my Finley did them for the first time last year, and I started in with Darkest Depths, and he loved it. He did Mind Tours after that, which I was like, you know, it's gonna be a lot, and he absolutely loved it. So and he was petrified to go in, but when he come out, he was like, I want to do it again. And now he does Passage, he does all sorts. He's looking forward to Halloween this year. So I would recommend, like, obviously being scared is part of the fun. For me, at least, I want to be scared. That's the whole point. But I can understand how it can be overwhelming to some people. But I would say to people,
I think
do try and give it a go.
Yeah, I honestly think the hype in your head about the maze is a lot worse than what it's made. The maze is going to be like 1,000,000%. You know, what are you really fearing? Because you're going to come out the other side regardless. It's going to happen. There's just going to be
just
a
the
few
unknown, isn't it?
scares. Yeah, it's the unknown. But the
I always
unknown
just say to
the
Finley, I'm
unknown is
like,
not as
it's
bad as
not,
you think.
it's not real at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
And like, I
it's
just
not.
say to him, like, obviously it dumbs it
Well,
down a
you
bit.
could-
I'm like, they're just
you could-
people in costumes. No one's going to hurt you. You know, it's
You can
not
say
real.
the
Just
same
go
thing
in and
about
enjoy
horror
it.
movies.
Yeah, exactly.
You can say the same thing about horror movies. Like, it's just
Yeah.
a movie. You're
Yeah,
still gonna
you
be
can.
alive after the movie. So-
See, the thing is,
But
I
what
hate
I
horror
found-
movies. I love scare
Yeah.
movies.
What?
I hate horror movies.
Yeah, I don't watch horror movies that much. They just, I don't know. There's a few
I
of them
won't
that are
watch them on
alright,
my
but
own because I'm a pussy.
it's just-
But-
So Matt
What I'm-
said,
what
I
I'm
know
trying
Matt-
to say just quickly is
Yeah.
when you're in a maze and you're doing it for the first time, you get that immersion level of like 1,000,000, like because
Yeah.
your senses are heightened. But if you're just looking around, the theming is so good to you because you're in this world. When you go around it the second time, you're like, all right, I know where the scares are going to come from. I know kind of what's going to happen. Let's have a look around even more. And it gets more in depth and more in depth. And then that itself becomes a part of the attraction to me.
yeah,
So when I'm going through the
Yeah.
attic now, I'm looking around and
Yeah.
I'm probably taking everything in.
I'm
Oh,
like
got
that with
scared,
Passage. I do Passage every time I go to Blackpool. I've probably done it like 30,
Yeah.
40 times. But I still
I'm-
enjoy going in because I still do get scared, even though I know where the actors are coming from.
yeah.
Things do make you jump, regardless of whether you know they're there or not. But
Yeah.
I just like to look, because even now I'll look at something and I go, I never knew that was there.
No.
yeah,
Because you don't
me,
realise
it's
how
just
much has gone into it.
Yeah.
Because you don't get time to see it, because you kind of straight through. But there's so much effort that goes into it. There's so much to see,
Loads.
regardless just the scares. Like it just.
I think it's
looks
for
amazing.
me. Coasters
For me,
slide-
it's just like it's adding fuel to my imagination. That's the
Yeah.
thing. It's
It
not
does.
Yeah.
it's not necessarily like it is a little bit before I go into a scare maze or watch a horror movie. Like
Mhm.
I kind of feel like the two go hand in hand. It's a little bit before, but mostly it's seeing all the things in there and what it's doing to my imagination for after.
Yeah.
It's like loads of people have that, and just like they'll
Yeah,
watch a horror
that's
movie and they're like, right, well, I'm not sleeping tonight. What else are we doing? Like,
I remember
it's
the first time I
their
watched Scream,
imagination's
man.
going fucking 1,000,000 miles per hour because of it, and like
Yeah.
I'm the worst for that. Even off of watching trailers for horror movies and stuff,
Mm.
like, and just like I've not seen the the Nun, off of the Conjuring universe of movies. I've not seen the Nun, but
Did you
like
watch the
that's
trailer?
that I literally watched the trailer, and like people are scared of clowns specifically. People are scared of fucking Leatherface, etc., like different characters.
Yeah.
Nuns are my thing. I'm just saying, fuck that to all kinds of like
Kyle ain't
that
being a church, just throwing it out
in
there.
every capacity. I ain't going back to church. Fuck that shit. No, I'm joking, but
So you
yeah,
wouldn't get on
and-
well
and,
with
like,
going to theatre
literally-
at Avon Valley then.
and like literally, yeah, sure. I don't know what that is, but yeah, sure. But
It's full
yeah,
of nuns.
like that. I'm like it like my imagination off of like after the fact
Yeah.
will go batshit mental.
Yeah.
because of it.
The first time I
And
watched
I
Scream as a kid,
I think
like,
that's also consistent with a lot of people as well.
it is.
It's
Yeah.
like it's the tension before it's the tension like what of not knowing what the experience is going to be like, but then also how it fuels their imagination for afterwards
Yeah.
as well.
The thing with the scare maze though is like when you come out of a maze, you're like, whew, like you got out. Is like my first reaction is like that was amazing. Like I'm always like that was just such a great experience. Or sometimes I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like that is another emotion that I was just like, what just happened? And then sometimes I'm like, I need to do that again because I want to experience that again. Like, and I think with Towers having the same lineup that they've had for a while now, I just think even last year, like they get better and better. Like people get, the cues and the scares get better over time as well, and people being in the right places and the sound and the effects and everything. It's like a well-oiled machine. And
Yeah, I think
they
it
get
is.
better
And
every year.
thing is, I just think with towers, they just need. We've said it for years. They just need scare zones, man.
Yeah,
They
they
need
do.
more scare actors about. They need to set up
they need-
established areas.
It's the atmosphere of the park.
It
Isn't
is
really?
because
Yeah, it is, yeah.
that was it for me. It's I've said this for years. Like Sanctuary was one of my favorite scare mates they've ever done. But take that away, I do think it's got the best solid lineup in terms of like scares, set design they've had for years. In terms of there's not like one crap one, except for I don't like Invitation. I've made that very clear. I don't like that one. It's just not my thing. It's just not my thing at all. But apart from that, like I just think that is solid. But last year, I do get why people were saying like there was just it just didn't feel like a scare event. Do you know what I mean? Like you went there, it didn't feel any different. So I just think the fact that they now, what we've seen on Twitter is that they're saying there's going to be a scare zone. Looks Wicker Man-esque. That's a step in the right direction, and that's like what most people have been begging for. So the fact that they're like listening to that feedback, I think
wasn't the whole thing years ago about the scare zones was just that people with children will find it a bit scary and stuff, so they've taken it away.
Yeah,
I suppose having this one this year is they're probably just dipping their toe in and just seeing what the reception is for it again. Because next year they could rock up with 3 or 4 scare zones but
they need to do it. Like they can't. Like it's just the way that industry has gone now, and it's like Towers isn't a kids. It's not. It's a family park, but it's not like a kids park. Do you know what I mean? Like they have to cater to everyone. And if people are saying they want scare zones, like it needs to be delivered, So,
I think the way as well, when you look at like farm parks, for example, I know it's a completely different thing, but when you go to like a farm scare park and it is just like full immersion, like there's actors on the pathways and there's lighting and there's music and stuff like that. And you think, I suppose, obviously Towers has got the rides and it's all the Towers at the end of the day, people want to go for their Halloween event. But I suppose they kind of have to look at that a little bit and maybe go, people are going to these farm parks because they're getting a whole package in terms of, like you say. Whereas I agree with Sean. Like last year, I went and I was like, I wouldn't know it was Scarefest if I didn't know the mazes were on.
Absolutely. And I think, I noticed that with a lot of people walking past, like, how do I get tickets? Only just noticing the mazes, which happened a lot. I talked about it last year. But if you've got actors outside a maze, even just like just a little corridor of actors before you get up to a maze, just to give you that kind of scare zone.
The thing is, Towers scare zones have always been the traditional. They've done it the way like Thorpe do their scare mazes before Thorpe did the scare zones. Yeah, which was like if you remember the zombie one. I mean, Forbidden Valleys was a bit open, but the zombie one years ago, that was like you walked into an area, and there'd be people on the outside. You didn't have to go through it. There'd be someone to warn you if like the kids were going to go through it. Same with like Scary Tales and stuff. Like Scary Tales was like a maze.
I love Scary Tales.
But Scary Tales was like it felt like a scare zone in a way because you just went through like a load of open bits. But yeah, it was just like there's ways to get around that. I don't think that's an issue. I don't think like and just do it so it's like from 6 p.m. or something, or like 3 p.m.
Yeah, like you say, if it's set in its own pathway, you don't have to go that way. It's not a main pathway; it's just a turning off. Like I don't see why not. At the end of the day, you don't have to do it, like you just said. But it just adds that extra bit of atmosphere. And for people that don't like mazes, might be like too much. But a scare zone's just enough to get that.
Gives you a taster, doesn't it? It gives you a taster.
Of course it does.
It helps you build up the confidence to go and do a full-on scare maze, and and in that way, it's going to sell more tickets for people who are hesitant to go and do it. But yeah, so Daz Games. This has been a really contentious one, really. Obviously, the YouTuber Daz Black, who wasn't that aware of to it. The only reason I knew who Daz Black was,
Daz Games only because I've got kids.
Yeah, you got kids, but he's flip. Have you seen the views he gets? Like, it's insane.
Oh, he's a massive YouTuber,
huge. But yeah, so Daz Games Panic. So it looks to be kind of escape room cross with a scare maze.
That'd be useless, me.
It's like people have got bands on it, and you have to scan things to get to one place to another. But from what I know, it is a maze. Like it has actors in it. It's kind of a cross between, so that's why it's kind of very different to anything I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like that.
Do we know whether you do it on your own or do you do it as a group?
I don't know. I seem to assume that if you've got a band,
I think you each get a band, but you might be able to go through with other people. From what I know, it's you have to find 2 locations before you can then exit. So you have to scan your band.
It's more
You'd
than
have to
2.
work together then. You'd have to work together.
Is it more than 2?
It's more than 2. But you have obviously in the trailer, it shows that you have 7 minutes to escape, which is a lengthy one. So I think
we assume then for 7 minutes, then surely they put more than one person in. Otherwise, that's going to be a hefty old queue if you go away.
Yeah.
For
you're not going to be
for long.
But
because the thing with escape rooms is you don't know how long it could take someone 2 minutes. It could take someone 7 minutes. So
it could be a lot of people put into a massive maze from multiple like different places. So we don't know where this location is going to be, but I assume it's going to be like a huge place. So I think the reasoning, I don't know, like I do get why people are annoyed about the fact that they've attached a YouTuber to it.
It's random.
It is very random. But if it pays for a brand new, if that name pays for a brand new huge scare maze, then I'm all for it.
Do you know what? It'd take a lot of like teenagers as well that are maybe like feeling a bit funny about doing scare mazes. For teenagers who know Daz Games, like say my kids both watch his videos, they'll go, Daz Games, I'm going to do that. So in terms of money and then making money from selling tickets to mazes, it works in their favour to have his name attached to it because people are probably going to go, I love Daz Games, I'm going to go and do his maze. It's
mad that we're at a stage now where YouTubers are literally IPs. It's crazy.
Yeah,
he's a massive
that
YouTuber
true,
as well.
yeah.
Like in terms of
it's mad, isn't it? I mean, if you look at like all the Prime shit and stuff like that, it's just crazy how like normally it'd be, I don't know, something that's been on.
Isn't
TV
one of the
or
kids
something,
coasters at Flopsaland literally themed to an influencer?
No, you've got the.
No,
or is it like
show? It's a kids show.
Or is it a TV show?
Like their version of
what's
like
it called? The Like Me coaster or something like that?
Yeah.
What's
a
a
High School
banging
Musical.
coaster, a queue line?
It's like High School Musical style show.
Okay.
But
I thought that
in
was-
Energylandia, Light, what the hell's it called? You know that boomerang? Light Explorers. That is after a YouTube channel. There's like a group. It's like Sidemen of Poland. Because like I saw I remember queuing up for it, and I saw these like portraits of all these different guys on there, and then like in the shop they had like this whole section of like just random merch that had nothing to do with the coaster.
It's the sponsorship, isn't it? That's why those particular shirts were so much more expensive.
So expensive. I asked this girl in the shop, and I was like, "What is all this? You got like these trainers and everything?" And I was like,
what's the name?
Is all this about?
Or something like that?
Don't know, man. I can't remember from the top of my head.
Something like
but
that.
I asked her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, they're this like massive YouTuber like group, and they just sponsored the ride." And I was like, "So that is literally like it is the equivalent of the Sidemen having their own place." I thought for like home coaster. I thought
it's mad, isn't it? Though it's mad. It's crazy, and you think about it.
Like, I mean, if you think about it, right? Someone I can't remember who it was, a big YouTuber. They said that they did this YouTube video where they had to like get together like an orchestra and like put a piece of music together.
Yeah.
And their video got something like 3 million views, right?
Yeah.
The exact same show came out on Channel 4 at the same time. Which
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, they didn't rob the idea, but it was just like, it was someone like these 2 comedians like Josh, what the hell's his name? Josh Widdicombe, yeah. And like
Ranesh Ranganathan.
Them two. And they did the exact same show, same premise, and it got reported that their viewership on iPlayer was 400,000 viewers. But that's like considered good for like, do you know what I mean? But then you look at the contrast of that, and you're like, no, YouTube is like TV. That's what it
YouTube is the new telly. Like it really.
Oh, it is. It's 100%. Like my
And
kids.
there's no barrier to
are
entry.
forever on YouTube. They watch.
But there
you
isn't, you're
you
right.
can watch anything on YouTube. Like obviously within boundaries, but you can watch anything on YouTube. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
going back to Towers, I get it from a marketing point of view why they've done it because I know you might look at him and go like, why? It's like from what I've seen, he does like reacting to game
Horror.
things. Well, he has 2 channels. He has his own like channel where he does his own thing, and then he has a gaming channel where he reacts to horror games. So
Yeah.
you know, I get it from a marketing point of view because it is going to bring in a whole group of people that not necessarily were interested in Scarefest, but are interested in Daz Black, and then think, shit, I want to go do this because I really like him. So
And then they'll buy
I get
tickets to
it.
the other mazes, and there
Yeah.
you go. It's worked.
I get
Yeah.
it.
So
I mean, we
sorry.
don't know until we see it.
No,
No.
It could be incredible.
It's going to be good. So Plopsland is all IP based, but this is something I like from Turkey, from Turkey, from talking, from Turkey,
From Turkey.
from talking to our friend Hiker who worked at the park. It's owned by Studio 100, which is a TV channel. Like that's what Plopsaland is owned by. It's owned by a TV channel. It's
that
it's
makes
they are-
sense.
yeah, so it is IP based, but it's like their own IPs, which is why everything except for
Road to Happiness.
Road to Happiness is based on a TV show that they own. So it's like Cartoon Network having a theme park, you know.
That's where
what I think.
Bumper comes from. Is the
Yeah,
actual
every
TV show.
Bumper.
yeah, everything is owned by Studio 100. Plopsa is
Oh,
just
speaking
the
of which.
theme park division of Studio 100.
There
There you go.
I forgot.
No, put it away.
I'll never forget the first time I saw Bumper. Like as we were leaving Plopsaland on that bridge over the top of the exit, I was like, "What is that?" Nightmare fuel.
Dun, dun, dun. It stares at you.
Road to Happiness is IP. True, very true. The whole park is IP.
Yeah.
Um,
Road to Happiness is just Tomorrowland.
I mean, Tomorrowland
Yeah,
isn't owned by
I
Studio
know it was an
100.
IP, but I was saying it's
Right.
not a TV show like the rest of the park.
Yeah.
So moving on to I've got anything else to talk about?
That's
Scarefest.
Towers, isn't it?
It's only the invitation, but we don't really need to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm
We
just
talked
hoping
about
to
Friday
change it
nights.
up a bit. I hope they re-listen to the feedback and just change it up a little bit. Like
Are
add
we
like
gonna
a
get some new food this year? That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that it's just an atmosphere situation with
Yeah,
it
Towers.
just-
And
yeah,
if
it
they're
just-
starting to bring that back, then good.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see how it plays out over not only this year but the next couple of years. If
Well, we're
this
going
new
to
Scare Zone is successful.
Oktoberfest, not next week after. So
Mm.
I'm hoping that if the atmosphere is going to be there for Scarefest, then hopefully it's going to translate into the earlier events as well. You know, as the hype builds. That's what I'm hoping for. Because if Oktoberfest's good, then I will go to Scarefest. But I have to see.
Yeah.
It's one of them for me at the moment.
Mm. I mean, I just even if I didn't like work with the park, I would just it's close to me. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like I would never miss Scarefest just because it's just like I just love.
I
them.
think
it's
the
just-
only thing drawing me back this year is as a fan of Mind Tours, I do want to go and try it this year if it's changed up a little bit. But
Yeah.
if that hadn't changed, Scarefest wouldn't really be on my list of priorities this year for Halloween.
Mm.
So I probably will go and probably just do that. But
to be fair, you know, like that's the thing. Like people, I always say the same thing. Like people need to vote with their money, and that's just the way it is. Like you will, if it's something you want to go to it. Like that's it. But yeah, let's move on to Fright Nights.
Mhm.
So Fright Nights, we have 3 mazes. We have Stitches. We have, which is the new one for this year, which is about the toy maker. Very like, I don't know. It's very like what's it called?
Collector.
No, it gives me like.
Coraline. It gives
See,
me
you're saying
Coraline
that, but I
vibes.
don't
Kind of
think it's-
Coraline vibes.
I don't
yeah.
think Coraline. I know it's the buttons for eyes and stuff, but I
Which
see it more like
freaks me out, by the way. That is not a child's film.
She's really not.
I think like I really get Caroline vibes from like the Attic and Curse.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Curse definitely.
'Cause
By the
it's
way, I took
got-
my sister on Curse for the first time the other day, and she shot a brick.
It's really.
Honest to God, I've never known she's the whole thing like this and just jumped. Made worse by the fact that we broke down in the trommel and had to sit there for 10 minutes, and she nearly vomited on herself.
Oh my God, you broke down in the tunnel.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she has
wow.
motion sickness, so that wrote her
Oh,
right
God.
off.
That would have
Yes.
fucking ruined me for like the week. That
It was
would've-
awful.
No.
So the Stitches one that gives me a Friday Night at Freddy's vibes. I think just because you keep seeing that Teddy with like the messed
Yeah.
up face and
I
stuff.
can I can see it.
I really
Yeah,
think they're
yeah.
trying to lean into that
Mhm.
IP a little bit, if I'm honest. Like with the teddy bears and stuff. But like the promos and stuff for it have got me pretty excited for it. Like
Yeah,
It-
I
it will get-
was really enjoying the build up for Fright Nights compared to Scarefest this year.
No, I'm the
See, like,
same. I haven't been to Fright Nights for like the last 2 years because I've not really felt the need. Nothing's really excited me. But this year
Yeah.
is the first year in a few years where I thought, actually, I do really want to go and give it a go.
So 2021 was the last time we went. That was when trailers was new, and we did trailers
I've
quite
never
a
done
few
trailers.
times. We did it out of season as well at the ScareCon thing.
Yeah.
I liked the premise of trailers, but my issue with trailers was unless you're at the front, you don't see any of them, any of the scares, because they're all like elaborate set pieces, like a dentist chair and like the bed. That like as soon as the scare happens, if you're at the back, which we were in our first run through, like they didn't reset. So like
The room's just dead, yeah.
the room's just dead,
Yeah.
and then the actors out of their location where they scared the first people. And you know what? That was I don't think that was the maze's fault. I think that was the batching fault. Like we did it in the daytime. We queued up 5 minutes for it. This is the tip. If you're going to go to Thorpe Park, please do it in the daytime because you'll get through it very quick. As soon as the nighttime hits, it's like hour queues, and
That's
also
why I've not been.
and I'll always
That's why
say
the tickets this year for pass holders, if you do the between 3 and 6 p.m. entry, it's like £19 for the free
Yeah.
mazes.
Wow.
After that, it's 30 quid. There is no
Yeah.
discount on an evening.
there is 0 point of doing them at night. There's no reason because you're just
They're
going
all
to be
indoors,
waiting.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're all
this year,
indoors.
yeah,
It's,
all
it's the
indoors.
same with towers, though. You get that
Yeah,
there. Like it's dead during the day, then at evening
Exactly,
you're waiting
but-
friggin' ages, and you think I've gone before and got through them all within an hour.
And the bonus
Just
is
just before
the
it
bonus
goes
is
dark, I like
if you do them
just before.
if you do them in the daytime, like full on daytime,
Mhm.
it will be a better run through
Yeah,
because
well,
your eyes are not used to dark. So you go into
Yeah.
a maze, it's pitch black,
it's
it's
dark, yeah.
scarier. Like you if you're in at night, you will be able to see more things and more sets, and you'll see where the
Mm.
actors are. So it's a better experience in the daytime as well. I will I'll guarantee that. So do that. But yeah, we did trailers. But like I say, we queued up for 5 minutes and there was hardly any queue, and they still batched us in a batch of like 16 people. And I was like, that is too
places.
I was like,
can't
that's
cope.
too much for a scare maze, like of that, like when there's specific things happening. So it wasn't the maze's fault. It was the person who batched us. Because we even said, we was like, there's no need to be in this, and they were just like, sorry, we've got to do it this way. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to argue. So, but yeah, last year survival games, I didn't really have that much of a urge to go to it because if you've done a lot of the farm parks, like there's a lot of survival game style mazes. But Stitches,
I'm intrigued to see how that runs this year. So I didn't get around to doing it last year. So
I want to give it a go. I think for me, when it comes to
Looks
scare
interesting.
mazes, and I think probably from an enthusiast point of view, if you enjoy scare mazes, when you go to loads of events, you kind of become desensitized to the scares and you find yourself wanting more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I find with survival games I prefer that something that's a bit hands-on, so they're allowed to touch you, they're allowed to grab you, they're allowed to move you and take you another direction. I enjoy that more because I don't get bored in scare mazes, but walking around, you get desensitized.
I
you
think
do loads of them.
that's why I preferred like a few years ago Thorpe's Fright Nights, where they did used to touch you.
For me, it adds more to the
it was a lot
experience.
more
I know it's not for
intense.
everyone. But
But since they've done the whole actors that won't touch you. It has become a lot more.
God, man, like
tame
back,
for me.
like before COVID, mine tours, that like you say, Emma, they would like lick you and stuff. Like it was the
In
most
ear
full on.
hole.
It
In
was
Hugged me,
insane.
picked me up,
Like,
pinned me against walls. It was fucking.
Yeah, I've had that with when Lionsgate sponsored, and it was Cabin in the Woods.
yeah.
Mm.
I was pinned up against a wall with a chain. Like they literally held a chain on me and kept me against a wall for.
Do you know
like,
what
a
the best
minute.
place to go if you want a hands-on maze? Horror at Hitchinbrook House is the best one to go. If you enjoy them touching you, I got put into a headlock. I got my legs kicked from underneath me. They lay me on the
Oh my
floor and they
God.
sat on me.
The old walkthroughs that your experience guide when they used to be Pleasure Beach Experience, like the old walkthrough videos that they did from Horror at Hinchinbrook with Mark Yates, Mark Yates.
Mark
Yates. I used to have a friend called Matt Yates at university. I literally used to have a friend called Matt Yates. Mark Yates at the front of the group. His reactions, those were always the best Halloween walkthroughs that they did because they got the best reactions out of
physical mazes for me are the best kind of mazes. I want. Sounds a bit seedy, but I like to be like roughed up a little bit. It sounds bad, but like, do you know what I mean? I want them to grab me. I want them to pin me against the wall. I want them to turn me in another direction. I'm talking about the mazes.
Is that what you're into, yeah?
Well, talking of that, obviously, like I've spoken here about how Warsaw Scare Maze did like a kind of an exclusive of it, an event where you could do it by yourself, but they're now offering it as a paid, like you can actually do it now.
I don't want to lose an eyebrow, but I want to do it.
Yeah. So if I was gonna say, if you're okay with getting electrocuted, possibly getting waxed,
Jesus.
That's what happened to me.
So down. To be fair, I draw my eyebrows on anyway. What's an eyebrow? It's fine.
Yeah, that was. I think.
Also, didn't you forget to use the safe word?
You get a safe word
because you could have avoided having your eyebrow waxed.
The issue was like I signed my waiver, gave it to him. You have to sign a waiver.
Oh yeah, and then you went and got pissed, didn't you?
And they were just like, "Okay, come back in an hour." And I was like, "That's dangerous." Within an hour, I was gone. So yeah.
So
like,
by the time you went through it, you forgot the safe word completely.
To be fair though, if you use the safe word, then I'd be like, I don't want to use the safe word because then I miss out on the rest of it. If they're just going to kick me out when I use the safe word,
yeah, but that's
like,
the way my brain works is like that's a challenge now. It's like I don't
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
If you can
wasn't the safe word just for avoiding specific bits being done to you?
No, it's anything. Like, it was like
they just end the maze. It was like that.
I don't think they ended it.
No, they wouldn't end the maze.
Psychomantium at Scare Kingdom. If you use the scare word, then you're out of the maze.
No, they don't know. What they do is, if you say the safe word, they just stop what they're about to do. So if they're going to wax you, you say the safe word and they stop.
I kind of don't want to be a pussy though, so I wouldn't.
I don't think they should have a safe word. I think it should just be like. I mean, I did it the right way.
What was the safe word?
I don't know, mate, because I didn't know at the time either. I forgot it. I don't know what the safe word was.
Wow.
But that'll be interesting. So that is Fright Night. Obviously, we have instead of Birthday Bash now, we have what is it called?
What is the show?
Lucifer's something.
Oh, is that the show?
No, it's like a scare zone / show. So where Birthday Bash has been for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Where Darren, well, not Darren, Ghost Train is. It's around
I enjoyed
there.
Bash.
Yeah, I think it was pretty cool. I liked it. It's a good like little hub for Fright Nights. Why can't I bloody find it? Where is it? There we go. Found it here.
It was Lucifer's Lair.
Lucifer's Lair. So filled with devilish delights, wicked live music, and now biting entertainment. You want to miss the petrifying party, Lucifer. The only thing I didn't like about Birthday Bash, and it felt weird because it felt like the stage shows. It felt like what they have, the entertainment they have on the lawns at Towers, where they do like the same songs again and again. but then suddenly someone would come out with a baseball bat and like kick the shit out of who the singer on stage or whatever. It's such a weird.
Yeah, it basically was that.
It was like it was just odd. It was odd. But like it's a good hub, and it's good that the actors are always there. You can just walk around it, and they will just, when they're not in full stream mode, they will just try and like psych you out and stuff, and it's pretty cool. Got Crows of Morecambe Meadow, Death's Doors, which is a weird one because I didn't do it that because I didn't go to last year's one, but I'm correct in thinking that you still have to queue up for it a little bit because you have to like knock on doors. So is it a
Believe so.
or is it just a free scare experience, scare maze? I don't know. It's a weird one.
Hmm.
But I've heard like that got like a lot of queues last year just to like do Death's Doors. So it'd be interesting if they like work that kink out or whatever. And then Creature Campus, which is the Amityville High thing, just a
Which
like a
is-
evolution of that.
Yeah, it started out with one school, became two schools, and now it's got witches involved. So
Hey!
Hogwarts.
My God,
So-
I'm sweating like a.
There's a law to
Why
it
is
though.
it so
It's
hot?
quite cool that they're doing that. You know,
Yeah,
just
it's-
keep just like a different things. Yeah, it's so hot. Is it like it feels like it's got hotter.
Yeah.
Sweating
night.
like it's all.
But yeah, that's Fright Nights. I'll definitely be
Using a
going
ride
this year.
photo.
I feel like
What's the
enough's
photo?
changed now. To
Yeah,
like,
I
That's
want to
the
go.
bad looks of it.
let's see the photo.
Oh,
Since you
this
used
is
the
me
photo.
and Finley on Zadra. Hold on, where's his face? Look at that.
Wearing your
Don't open
goggles.
your mouth.
You have to wear goggles on Zadra.
Yeah,
Oh.
So-
On the
Is it
front
just
row.
front row? Okay.
Oh.
stay on Hyperion.
Yeah, what that was after they like. I don't know if it was a COVID thing that they didn't have to because I didn't have to wear goggles in 2021 for Zadra.
Not on the front row.
I did hear it was like 2022 or this year that they apparently brought them back because apparently you had to wear them before COVID.
Is it because that guy got twatted in the
Yeah.
face on Red Force at Port Ventura?
they took him. They
What,
took
by
him
a
away
seagull?
They took him away.
Yeah.
They brought him in, and then they got taken away because of COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
But
okay.
then they brought him back.
It's only
Ah.
the front row, and to be honest, it makes you feel cool as fuck. So
Yeah, it looks
It
amazing.
didn't take
Felt
anything
like a
away from
pilot.
it when we did it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Saying that,
Yeah.
that was one of the whole things with Fly. You were meant to be wearing the
what?
steampunk goggle things
I'm down
in the
for
original
roller coaster
concept.
goggles.
Hence why they have
No
loads
reason.
of them in the Charles Lindbergh cabins.
No,
They're
I
all just
don't-
hung.
no, I don't. I think I've had the choice not to wear them. I wouldn't want sweaty like.
No, I wouldn't
sweaty
want to
Yeah.
wear them,
flipping-
but because at the end they have the whole thing of like prepare for your, like put your goggles on to be de-sooted.
Okay.
De-salted.
De-sooted.
Is that the technical term?
So I just want to finish quickly on. I wanted to do way more. I've got like Fantasy Island, Pleasure Beach stuff, but we can cover that another time.
Oh, I'm going to
Yeah.
Fantasy Island. I'm excited about that.
Oh,
Good for you.
well done.
All right.
Have a medal, mate.
Congrats, you well done.
I want to tell you about it when I've been.
Have you
No,
been?
you will.
before?
I've never been before now.
You never
I
been
don't
to
know.
what?
Never
Oh, I'm
mind.
sorry. I've never been to Fantasy Island.
You, but
Sean.
you what? You're going to
Are
all
you
these crappy little
judging
fairs,
me?
but you've not been to
Are
Fantasy
you
Island.
judging me for never going to Fantasy Island? Well,
I
I
bet
am
you do.
now.
You went to Newcastle for a fair.
Right. It was a
You've not been to Fantasy Island.
Well, I am now, so shut your face.
You need to get your priorities in order.
You need to shut the fuck up. I was gonna
Wait till
say
you
something
see the
awful.
market, Emma.
I can't wait for the market. That's what I'm
The
most
market
hyped for.
looks spectacular.
Oh,
Gonna
God,
buy
that's
myself
so
some
fun.
I'm with Sean on this one. How the hell have you? I've been to Fantasy Island.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
It's not
haven't
far
been.
away.
And
I
you
haven't
haven't.
been.
Well, I'm
I've
going
got-
now. All right, I can be
I
part
really
of
wanna
the
go.
cool crew because I'm going. Okay, I'm going.
Oh,
for
Joe's
the
never
ride.
been to Fantasy Island.
Oh,
Sean, you
why,
haven't
you haven't-
taken Joe to.
Get out.
Slag your
Get
wife
out,
off,
get
out.
Sean. Why are you
Get
not slagging
Get out
her
the
off?
chest. Slag your ass.
Joe's not going to do like mad fairs across the country.
I couldn't care less. Go slay. Joe, you're into it when he's finished on this podcast. I'm telling you.
So the Haunted Manor at Drayton Manor is back.
Ah.
So last year it was called Night at the
Yay.
Manor, which was the first ever like proper like scare event. They've done like Trick or Treat, more Trick than Treat, which was like their kiddie version. So this is like a mix of the two, but they're not doing like Night at the Manor as a standalone thing now. It's just going to be the Haunted Manor. There's daytime tickets and evening tickets.
Nice.
But so they have fireworks finale,
No.
which is really cool. So their kind of scare attractions is Castle of Shadows, which is obviously the big castle they do all the Christmas and Halloween stuff in.
Nice.
This is more of a kind of a Grimoire
Archie?
Academy. So
Never
it's like
noticed.
you what?
It's Archie. I never noticed when I looked before.
Oh yeah, the Haunted Express.
He's bloody
Um,
everywhere, that guy, isn't he?
I know, it gets around. Yeah, so like this is their new scare maze experience this year, and then they have the Haunted Express, which is the experience going around on Drayton Manor Express with the headphones, which was actually, I really liked it. I thought it was a really good experience. And then they have Chaos Cove Scare Zone. The Adventure Cove Circus has been cancelled, and the clowns are on the loose with carnage and chaos at every turn, which could be really fun. I think that would be really good. They're Vikings Ragnarok, so the Vikings, they had that kind of last year as well with like some of the actors, but I think they're going to go a little bit harder on it. And then the Haunting Reclaimed.
I am
So-
well excited for this. I
Yeah,
want
this
to know what
sounds
it's going to be.
so cool. It's called, so the blurb is the Institute of Metaphysical Research has long
It's a
since
big word.
concluded its investigation into the Drayton Green vicarage after the team mysteriously disappeared in 1996 with no trace until tonight. So it's like harking back to the original Haunting, which is like my
Yeah.
favorite incarnation of the Haunting.
Nice.
So like this could be really cool. It
Yeah,
could
I'm
be really
excited
good.
for that. That sounds well good.
Broken Clouds
um,
and 23 in Tamworth, apparently. Noticed it on the website.
On the
Fair?
website. Where?
On the
It's
top
not.
right, just
It
on the
says
book
book
now.
Oh right, yeah, okay. Just telling us the weather. Nice little feature.
Liseberg has the same when you're on the booking page. If you select a date, it will tell you the forecast.
Isn't that really
Good
weird?
update.
So I'm looking at the website. I'm not there. So do I need to know? I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange.
But yeah, it's looking good. I do like the styling of it this year. It looks
Yeah,
really
the
good.
art
Yeah,
looks
it
really
looks
good. The
cool.
marketing's great. Yeah, the
You can
marketing.
tell that they've took on board from last year and what people like, what didn't like, and it's good to see them change it up rather than just go with the same thing again, because it is a brand new thing. They could have just easily gone, well, roll with the same thing again, but it's good to see them change it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think stripping it back a little bit and then just focusing it on individual stuff a little bit better is going to be better for the long run, because like a lot of these parks and stuff have been doing this stuff for years, and they're really just like kind of dipping the toe into it. So I think it would be really interesting. So yeah, that's Drayton Manor's The Haunted Manor.
Yay.
And I think that brings us to the end of the show.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
I'm definitely doing the Vikings event. I mean, I've done every event this year so far, so because it's down the road, it's a bonus. But it looks really cool.
So you already know what the weather's like before you go. You don't need to check the weather.
Well, I'm in the weather. I'm literally in the weather.
You are the weatherman, Sean.
Just look out the window.
It's actually being updated from his windows.
Yeah, so obviously we probably should have actually opened the show with this, because I totally forgot it was like news we had to cover. But yeah, Shockwave obviously is
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
getting converted to sit down. So this is like I don't know how to feel about this news.
It's bittersweet, isn't it?
It's a
You
weird
don't
one.
want to lose Shockwave for what it is, but I personally 100% understand why they're doing it. It makes perfect sense for the park
Yeah,
to do it.
I just find it to be the weird. It's going to be like the strangest layout to a coaster now. It's not sit.
It
no,
It's odd.
this is
really
down.
is,
It's
yeah.
just going to be like
Yeah.
a loop, a 0G.
That just became a very uninteresting layout.
Yeah,
Whereas-
but when you think though it's going to a 1.2 coaster, so for someone like my Lola, for example, who can't do many inverted coasters, to have a loop and a 0G and things like that's exciting for a 1.2 coaster. It's not the longest layout in the world, but the elements on it for a child, that's pretty exciting.
I'm
I
interested
just
to
think
ride
children need to
the-
grow up. Really.
You tell Lola that to her face, I dare you.
I'll be
You
interested.
know will.
I will
Exactly.
tell you.
I'll get a
We already
slap
have.
like I always do.
Probably already has.
No, I do get the thinking of it. And to be fair, like if you probably did a poll, like more people find it uncomfortable than don't find it uncomfortable. I don't find it uncomfortable, but I know a lot of
No.
people do. So I do get it. It's probably the right move for the park, but for me, it's like
Yeah,
it's
it's sad, isn't it? But-
a unique coaster in itself. Like it's what like Coaster Studios just went there. I don't think Coaster Studios would have gone there if Shockwave wasn't a stand-up. I don't. What would be the draw
No.
for like an American to go to Drayton
Yeah,
Manor?
no, there wouldn't be.
I
And
think it was a last minute decision because they didn't go to Oakwood.
They were going to
It
go.
Well,
was-
around
I just
Magnolia,
still
but
don't
it
think they
Very
would have gone
much.
to Drayton Manor. I just don't
Yeah.
think they would have. I don't
For
think
sure.
they would have
Mm.
travelled that extra mileage just to go.
I s-
But I think that they're going. Oh, there's a stand-up coaster there,
Yeah,
like an
Yeah.
Intamin that
with a
was
0G roll.
with a 0G roll. Like but don't get me wrong. I understand that ain't paying the bills for Drayton Manor. Like
No,
a
No.
handful of Americans a year or Europeans
No,
a
no,
year.
no.
That ain't that's not a reason to keep it that way. But
I would say though, it's going to be interesting to experience the profiling of that track sat down. It's going to be quite whippy, I reckon, in some of them inversions.
mate, I think
do hope-
I think
I
I've
hope it's
ridden
lap
that.
bar.
Yeah, it's going to be very strange. I think I've ridden that coaster more than any coaster in the world because I started riding it when I was like a kid.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really strange. I am looking forward to seeing what it feels like as a sit down.
Yeah, me
And
too.
you know what? Like,
I'm just glad that they're evolving the coaster rather than because it's
Getting rid of
on a
it.
bit now, rather than
Yeah.
getting rid of it
Yeah.
and building some other potential family coaster.
but
or stick
how
flat
long
rides
do we
there.
think that coaster has got? Like,
Has
'cause-
it been retracked at all in its life?
No. Nope.
no.
Because you'd assume when you look at all the other 1994 coasters, they're all having
Yeah.
extensive retracking now.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
obviously,
I
I
think
dunno.
I think like if you probably calculated over since like 1994, like how much mileage that coaster's done is probably nowhere near like Nemesis.
no.
It's like nowhere near any of these other coasters that are
No.
having issues. And also it's a short layout. There's not that much forces on it.
There's a shitload of supports.
Yeah, it has so many supports. So I think in a way it's probably got a lot longer than all these other coasters have got.
And
Yeah,
we're
but-
getting that, and we're getting a new coaster as well. So
Yeah,
In the
man.
same year.
I'm so. I mean, like when you see how big that area is, it's got me super excited about this coaster. You know, Like, it is a family coaster, but like as we know,
yeah, it's lift
you know,
launch.
for Bolton's a family coaster. That is
Yeah.
Mhm.
amazing. You know, so this could be like really, really good. I'm really excited about it.
I'm
and
just
it's
excited for Drayton in general. Like they've put like a shift in over the last few years. Like the parks go from strength to strength, and it's just like I say they could have sacked Shockwave off because it doesn't fit with their demographic as much anymore. They've not, you know, they're just making it. They're evolving it. They've got a new coaster. They've had just shit tons going on over the last few years, and it can only get better for the park.
Mhm.
And it's really exciting. You know, it might not be a thrill park anymore, but I still love it. I think it's great, regardless of whether I went on Shockwave or not. I always have a great day out with Drayton.
like something. Just going back to, I need to end this podcast, but I'm getting distracted. Yeah, saying every 5 minutes a generous Joe. Like when we were doing like POVs and stuff, like they have to send Shockwave out every 5 minutes. Like they just have to do it to make sure like it's getting. I don't know what it is. It's something to do with the trains or something. Like they have to do it. Like so that is the limit they have on it. But 5 minutes feels like a long time when you're waiting.
Yeah.
On it. I'll tell you. But yeah. So less wear. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I wonder if it. Hopefully, I want to know. I've got so many questions like about this Shockwave sit down thing. Like, are they brand new trains? Surely they're gonna have to be. Surely this like old Intamin track that was like
Jilv and all this stuff.
manufactured.
I'm wondering
it's
who's
not
gonna
standard.
Surf
who's
trains.
Is it gonna be like
who's gonna
Goliath?
manufacture them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Intamin
interesting
surf
to see.
trains. They
It's
patented
not.
it earlier this year.
I'm wondering who's gonna
One can hope.
Yeah. Who is going to
Which-
manufacture these new?
which
trains?
manufacturer is gonna which
Tazica.
manufacturer is
There you
taking on that job?
Tazica.
Tazica
always
going into
Tazica.
trains.
Oh, it's Tazica.
Well,
Tazica.
I think it will be Intamin because like they have a really good relationship with Intamin. Obviously, they
Yeah.
just did the whole. They put in the
Could be
rapid.
Sam Perla.
No, I think it would be Intamin. Well, no, it's gonna be Intamin because they're getting a new coaster from Intamin. That was confirmed in the.
That's what I would. That's what I would go towards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been
there's
confirmed
no
that it's going to be an
lighting
Intamin coaster.
spent
They
a
just
lot of
had the
money
new
on.
Rapids, which is a whole new system
Mhm.
from Intamin. Intamin have been there for ages doing that.
Mm.
They're always like with Maelstrom and stuff, like with Apocalypse, like they've got
Yeah.
a long-standing relationship with Intamin. So I can't see why they're having this massive, and like it was confirmed also that this new coaster is going to be a custom layout. It's not an off-the-shelf layout.
Yeah.
So like it's got to be Intamin. Like
All I can say, all I'm gonna say is in before Zamperla.
Are you gonna say? Are you gonna? Is your bet with Zamperla?
No, I'm joking. The fuck? Absolutely.
We
not.
need to have a
Just
bet.
in before Zamperla lightning trains.
Oh God!
We need to have
You
a
imagine
bet.
they put a swing launch on it.
Fucking hell.
This time.
That's what everyone does.
Well, I mean,
now.
it
It's
only
like,
runs
we
one
can
train,
do
so
it.
it's swinging.
Yeah.
Change the lift hill to a top hat into a loop, 0G roll, 2 corkscrews. Yeah.
Oh God!
Extend the
Oh,
layout.
funny as hell.
No, the spike would
RCT
be at the
limited.
break run. It'd be a. It's the only place it needs extending is the fucking break run.
Yeah, let's just get
New
rid
brakes.
of them friction brakes, man. Like they need to go.
Steady.
That just ruins the whole thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm on the like. I remember seeing a tweet the other day saying like, "What's your thought when like leaving Shockwave Station?" And my thought was, brake.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of that before we even go over the lift hill. I'm like, okay, just remember to brace on the brake.
Yeah, brace
what
on the
I do.
brake. Brace on the brake.
No, my first thought is jump on the 0G. It makes it more fun.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
good.
that is the best.
See,
thing to do on
I
it.
I'm a
just
little bit good. I'm a little bit good. I never tried that, but at the same time, I'm like,
Joe was the
It's well
person who
fun.
organised
it's
it,
not that
but-
serious. It's not the end. It's not the end of the world. Like,
Yeah, leaving the station, I'm just picturing the guy building the brick.
Plus, I
wall
can do it
I'm
on
about to
pipeline.
Crash into.
You can do it on pipeline.
I can try.
Yeah,
I can
you can
try
do it on pipeline.
instead.
Yeah, you can do it on pipeline. Ooh, yeah. And they would actually move with you as well, which
Yeah, you
would be
my dad's actually
interesting.
jump on that 0G. Do it.
Yeah.
Cool. I think we've come to the end of the podcast.
We have 2 hours.
Yeah.
Nice. Good show back.
We came to
Awesome.
the end 10 minutes ago, and then realized we got to talk about this.
Chain Dogs
Main
Plus.
bit.
We didn't.
How is this work? Okay. Cool. Thanks to everyone for joining us. We will be back next week. We will. I promise. We will be back next week. We'll be
Oh,
back
yeah.
now for the Receivables because, well, maybe until spooky season fully kicks in.
I was going
Well,
to say spooky season's very
Yeah,
good.
that might hinder us a little bit, but like for the foreseeable future, we'll be back every week. Again, I've got no
Can I have a
travel
quick
plans
plug?
coming up, so
Do it.
I've started Ride Sim streams again on Coaster Gen YouTube channel. I've called it Happy Hour 2 for 1. So I'm doing two rides in 1 hour. And we're going to be doing that on Tuesday nights, 7:30, and Sunday nights as well. So if you're into Ride Sims or you just want to hang out, come and check us out.
you buy one, you get one free. I
you
said
get
you
one free.
buy one,
Happy Hour.
you get one free.
Yeah, I'm gonna call. I'm literally gonna call it Safe Style UK. The next stream.
safe style Sims.
Bro,
Yeah.
anyone got anything they want to?
On my channel, Top Real Tourist, I've been banging out a few vlogs. We had a break for a few weeks because I did lots of fun, non-theme park related things. I know it does exist, but we have started
What?
banging new vlogs out. I will be putting the Oakwood vlog out with Mega Favourite and stuff over the next couple of weeks. Might even put a fair vlog out, Sean, just to make you happy.
Ooh.
I do
So-
actually watch your fair vlogs. I only wind you up. I do actually like the fair vlog.
No, you don't.
I do. You do. Me and Joe watch them when we're eating.
Joe, I know Joe watches them. I know you
We
don't.
both do. We
course
watch
you
them
do.
together.
Oh.
So my USA vlog is coming on. It's gone from 4 hours to 2 hours, so we're getting it down.
Oh wow.
So it's getting there. But yeah, that will be up very soon. So
Nice.
it'll be out when it's out, basically. So I'm never ever doing a vlog where it's like one trip in one go ever again because it's just the insane amount of editing. So
I couldn't even think about
Making a feature-length movie, essentially.
it actually is.
I just couldn't be asked.
Yeah. Well, I'm basically doing It's 8 vlogs in one, so that's what it is.
Jeez.
So you buy one, you
You get 1 free. I said you buy one, and you get 7 free.
I'll get the popcorn in.
Anyway, thank you everyone.
Let's
We will
go.
see you
Thank
next
you.
week. Bye bye. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.